As a young man, as a teenager, I grew up about a mile and a half out of Boston. And where I grew up, it was a great time back in the 60s, but it was just starting to get, I was in a situation where I was starting to get in a lot of fights. One night when I was about 15, I saw some girls. I was with a couple of friends and we saw some girls out in front of a church. And we tried to get to know the girls a little bit, and we started talking to them a little bit, and they got scared and ran into the church, and we did the absolute normal thing, which was to just run in the church after them. We followed the girls through a door and then down a flight of stairs into the basement, and much to our surprise, we found a pool table, a Coke machine, a bunch of other kids, and we looked at each other and said, wow, this is a lot better than getting in fights and getting in trouble. Let's play pool. Everything is free. So for about 2 years, this is the only time in my life I'm really going to church. From 15 to 17, I went to church there on Friday nights, and the only person there talking about Jesus Christ was me. And that usually happened when I would miss a pool shot, and I would take his name in vain. But I really didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in Jesus. I thought anybody who did was, what's wrong with them? Why can't they stand on their own 2 feet? Why are they using excuses? Why don't they just stand up, be a man, and stop clinging on to God if there is a God? But after about 2 years, they had a group of college kids came in, and they began to share how Jesus Christ was real to them. They showed us a movie about a circus in which Jesus Christ was portrayed as a clown. And even though he didn't say one word in this movie, he just kind of like served other people. And I thought the movie was kind of lame, but I guess we're supposed to think that that's what Jesus is, he's doing service. And I wasn't too impressed with the fact that they were telling us about Jesus, but I noticed there was something different about their life. They seemed to be really happy, they seemed to be really free, they had a lot of joy, a lot of love, and they were able to joke around and have a good time and not feel guilty about it. And I thought, there's something there. So a little while later, after talking to, we had a youth group leader there, his name was Bo. He was a football player from down in Virginia. He talked in that southern accent. I asked Bo, I said, Bo, is this Jesus thing real? And he says, sure, Paul, sure is real. And I'm like, really, Bo? And so anyway, so he started telling me a little bit about it, but I still wasn't buying it yet. And after about 6 months or so of talking to these guys, I decided that, well, I can do this. So I went home and I'm laying in bed one night and I decided that's it. I'm going to ask God into my life. And I said, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm a sinner. Will you please come into my life? And for the first time in my life, I felt God's presence. And he was like so pure and so white and so clean. And it made me feel so dirty that I threw my covers over me as I'm in bed. And I just started to weep. And then even at that point, I just felt he's just so holy and I'm just so unclean. So what I then did was I got between my mattress and my box spring and I'm crying out to God, begging forgiveness and begging I'm sorry. When my father comes running up to the stairs and asks me, are you drinking? And I go, no. He goes, are you on drugs? I go, no. I go, I'm trying to get born again, leave me alone. And he's like, he calls up my mother. She comes running up. He goes, look, the kid's on drugs. And I go, I'm not on drugs. I'm not drinking. I'm trying to get born again. Will you please leave me alone? I just said to God, forget it. I'm not doing this. But then a few months after that, I got invited to a Young Life camp out in Colorado. And we spent a week there. And I knew what was coming. I knew that they were going to invite, there are going to be times that they're going to ask us if we want to ask Jesus Christ in our life. And I said, okay, I'll go. If it's real, I'll do it. If it's not real, I'm not doing it. So after the first night, I see these great big football players crying like little babies. Oh, Jesus is real, he forgave. And I'm looking at them like, okay, Lord, go ahead, do your thing. And nothing happened. And this went on the first night, second night, third night, every night. Everybody keeps getting saved. Oh, finally on the last night, the guy makes his statements pretty much like, is there anybody here who hasn't accepted Christ? I don't know how it's possible. Everybody else. And I said, okay, Lord, you're really going to do something, but it's got to be real. And nothing happened. And the next day we got on the bus to go home, and as we're standing there getting ready to get on the bus, I meet our youth group leader, Tom, and Tom said to me, he said, so Paul, what do you think? Isn't Jesus just the greatest thing in the world? And I said, no, he's not. This is just a bunch of BS. I don't believe it for a minute. I mean, yeah, we had a great time. Nature's nice, the mountains are nice, but a lot of friendly people, but gee, I don't think this thing's real. And he said, are you being honest with God? And I said, absolutely. He said, are you really praying and really being serious and honest? I said, yes, 100%. And you really asked him? I said, yes. He said, you've been reading your Bible? I said, no. He said, well, you got to read the Bible. I said, I've never read the Bible in my life. So that, on the way home on the bus, which takes about 2.5 days from Colorado to the Boston area, I began reading the Bible. I started in Mark, and I'd read a little bit, and I'd talk to some of the other kids on the thing, and I'd read back and forth. And then it got to a point there at 11:20 at night on August 8th, 1968, when as I was reading it, and they were crucifying Jesus Christ, I realized that he died for me. And I just knew how real it was. So on August 8th, 1968, at 11:20 at night, I just started crying as I read as I was reading where they started to crucify Jesus Christ. And I just remember thinking how unfair this is. You know, why did he did nothing but love people. Why are they killing him? Why are they doing this to him? So I felt like almost like my heart burst, or like warm water was going through my whole body, and I felt completely cleansed. And I just felt so clean and so pure and so free. I've been a Christian now for 50 years, and I know one thing. I know that if people had a chance to meet Jesus Christ, and if they authentically, just realistically read the Bible, sought him, and asked Jesus Christ to reveal himself to them, but if they ever met him, every one of them would accept him. I just know that with my heart. The reason people don't accept him is they think they know who he is, and they don't. Because we've been deceived. I was deceived as a young man. But once you understand how much he really loves you, how much he cares about you, there is anybody that would turn away from that if they just took a minute to look into it and really ask him to reveal himself to them.